What up, YouTube? JTISREBORN here, and welcome to another edition of After the Movie. I'm gonna get ready to rewatch Rise of the Planet of the Apes. You can see it's on my TV right there. So, let you know what I think about it after I see it. I liked this movie when it first came out. I haven't really rewatched it all the way through since about like 2012, 2013. So, figured now's a good time. So, let you know what I think after the movie. All right, I just got done rewatching Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And wow, that movie holds up remarkably well. It had been a while since I've seen it, but man, this movie's great. Yeah, so let's get into the plot of this one. I'm going to do a brief synopsis, overall thoughts, and then I'll get into some spoilers for those of you who haven't seen it. But I mean, I'm not sure why you're really watching this review, unless you're just curious to know what I think in like a brief synopsis. But I really recommend that you check out this movie and then go see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and then War for the Planet of the Apes when that one comes out. So, anyways, let's talk about Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This movie, the plot of this movie is that there's this medical team, like this, this company, they're trying to find a cure for Alzheimer's. This ALZ 112 is the drug they're using. They administer it on chimps, and it's been seen to like increase intelligence, and so they're getting ready to go for their big pitch, like, hey, this works, look at the intelligence increase in the chimps. And then see, but like the only side effects were like, their eyes changed colors and they just became highly intelligent. So they're getting ready to like pitch it to this boardroom or whatever. But then the chimp who they were testing it on, who showed signs of increased intelligence, snaps and goes crazy, and then they end up killing it. And then the reason we find out later on is because she was protecting her infant, which would grow up to be Caesar, who would be played by Andy Serkis. And I gotta say, right off the get go, Andy Serkis deserves an Oscar. He deserves something. He is absolutely phenomenal in this movie. This performance is the best of his career. I mean, granted, he would play the character in like Dawn and then, of course, in War, but by God, Andy Serkis is just masterful in this movie. I mean, it's motion capture. I know the Academy and that doesn't recognize it as real acting, but by God, this movie would not work without Andy Serkis and his committed performance. He's absolutely amazing. I mean, you're just in awe every second that he's on screen. He's incredible. And the effects work is really terrific in this movie. Granted, there's some moments where you can tell it's CGI here and there, but they did improve in each movie. Like Dawn, it gets better, and then from what I've seen in War, it just looks it's uncanny at this point. But like you could tell there's some CGI there, but for the most part, it looks really convincing. And Andy Serkis' performance is incredible. So, anyways, we get the scientist played by James Franco. He's put years of his life into this thing. He's put like 5 years into it, and he just sees it's like, oh, nothing's working. So he takes Caesar home so he doesn't get euthanized, and then he notices increased intelligence. The drug that was administered to his mom has helped passed on the intelligence to Caesar within his genetics. And Caesar grows to be a very smart ape, smarter than like any ape in history. So, Caesar's living with James Franco, and then he uses that cure on his father, John Lithgow, and then eventually comes to a point where Caesar has to get taken away, and then he's abused in some like ape penitentiary or whatever. Like, what is it? An ape sanctuary by fucking Malfoy from Harry Potter. I mean, is this guy always an asshole in everything he's in? Like, he's never a nice guy. Like, everything I've seen him, like Harry Potter, on The Flash, which thankfully towards the end of the season, like, he became nicer, but by God, he starts out as a dick. I mean, come on. Let's see this guy as the nice hero for once. I want to see him play like a good guy from the beginning to the end, not an unlikable douchebag. And yeah, he's just a fucking asshole. I mean, the whole time. Also, performance-wise, James Franco's pretty good in this one. John Lithgow's really good as like his father with Alzheimer's, and you really feel the emotion. Like James Franco is just trying to save his father's life, and so the drug he uses, the ALZ 112, actually does like prove to be quite effective, and it like reverses like his disease. But eventually, antibodies start to like resist the drug, and then he needs to make a more powerful one, and then from there, like, that gives the apes intelligence and stuff. And yeah, I'll save the next part for spoilers, but overall, at some point, Caesar, he has to rise up, and then you've seen the trailers and the posters, the apes and that, they break loose, and then havoc is ensued. But yeah, I highly recommend checking this movie out if you haven't. So I'm gonna leave it at that. If I had nitpicks in this movie, just the whole like Malfoy thing. It's like, oh come on, give me a break. Does he have to be a dick this whole time? And then just some of the stupidity with just anything involving Malfoy in this movie, like, kind of irritates me because like, just Jesus Christ, come on, do something different. Um, yeah, it's pretty like ridiculous at points, and you got like these drunks coming in too. It's stupid. But anyways, do yourself a favor, check it out, and I'm gonna get into spoilers for the rest of the movie. So be warned. Anyways, Caesar is abused by Malfoy. Then he like breaks out all these chimps. He steals like the ALZ 113 drug, which is like more powerful than the 112. And the company, who's led by some rich obnoxious asshole, as always, actually when they continue to test it on chimps, which was a huge mistake because when they're testing on one of the chimps, something goes wrong, and then like someone else is exposed to the gas. Like this company is ready to just ship this whole drug from the get go without doing any sort of human trials. Which if they would have done it from the get go, then or I mean like if they would have like done at least one human trial test, then the whole world wouldn't end in dawn. But yeah, so one of the guys gets sick, and then from there like that kind of like spreads an infectious disease throughout the world, which, you know, is followed up in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which, by the way, Dawn is just so fucking good, even better than this one. But, you know, let's get to that in the next one. But, yeah, Andy Serkis is amazing. I love Maurice. Maurice is one of my favorites, too. Just this little monkey, or this giant ape. I think it's an orangutan. I don't know what kind of species it is, but I love Maurice, who can also speak in sign language. There's some great action here, too. The scene on the Golden Gate Bridge where the apes are going out and you got people like gunning the apes down, and like Caesar actually kills Malfoy at one point, which is a breath of fresh air. The first time he speaks in this movie is like, holy shit. Like, I mean, I remember hearing a pin drop in the theater, like, boo. He's like, Malfoy's like, take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. Nowhere near as cool as Heston, but I did get a laugh in the theater when he said that, and he's like, no! And you're like, oh, fuck, he just spoke. Jesus, that's terrifying. I know the apes speak in the original movies, but when you see it build up over time to the moment he first speaks, it's a great scene. And in the end, Caesar and he like leads a revolt. All the apes escape to the Redwood Forest, and then James Franco is reunited with them, and then he's just like, Caesar, come on, I don't want anything bad to happen to you. I can protect you, because you really feel the emotional connection and bond between these two characters. And in the end, Caesar like grabs them, and he's like, Caesar is home. And then Franco's like terrified, but like also like amazed that Caesar is talking. And the movie basically ends with the ALZ 113 disease, you know, spreading, and Caesar's leading the apes in the woods to like a peaceful life. And that's basically Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Overall, it's a great movie. I highly recommend you check it out. I'm going to get ready to go rewatch Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. The reason I'm recording this audio is, I had to do something. But I will watch Dawn next. So, yeah. Give this movie a watch. I think you'll enjoy it. And, yeah, I'll see you all when I talk about Dawn, and then I'll talk about war.